You're listening to the Live Out Loud podcast with River Wynn and Michelle Flamer.
Hi, River.
Hi, Michelle.
How are you today?
I'm a little tired today, but I'm good.
Holiday weekend.
Yes, except for I'm not having a holiday weekend. I'm having a working weekend, but
I know. And you had kind of a crazy evening.
last night I did. I went to a wedding, was photographing. I wouldn't call it a wedding. It was more of like a ceremony that was a surprise to their entire family, but
Okay, that's awesome.
it was
I
actually
always
really
wanted to
cute.
do something like that. That would
Yeah, it
be
was
really
really cute.
fun.
The person who booked me, they are graduating with their masters, and so they gathered their entire family for the weekend for a camping trip and hired me to come take quote unquote graduation pictures. But halfway through, took their cape off and had their wedding dress underneath. They're like, "Surprise, family, we're getting married," and we did their
Oh
ceremony
my
right then and
God, I
there.
love that. I can't wait to see those photos.
It was so cute. But it was out in the middle of nowhere, like an hour and a half from me, up a really bad dirt road, and I got a flat tire when I arrived.
That's
But luckily, out in rural Oregon, all these country dudes can take care of that. And there were a bunch of guys who were fixing my tire for me while I was taking photos. It was great.
that's cray cray.
It was cray cray. It was cray cray.
But so you drove home on the donut.
No, they literally
Oh.
had a patch kit and an air compressor, and they patched my tire and refilled it because there was a nail. It wasn't even the road
Oh,
that needed to do that.
that's
It was a
why they were
nail.
refilling it. Okay,
Yeah.
because I was like, what the heck? Okay, now I get
No,
that.
there was a nail. And so they removed the nail, they patched it, they refilled it, and I was able to go home normally.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. It was
I
quite the
mean,
adventure.
yeah, I was talking to you. You were definitely like, okay, I'm just being cautious. I'm listening for things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, you don't
Yeah,
want to.
I drove home without listening to podcasts or music or anything like that for an hour and a half, just so I could make sure I could hear if something happened.
It's so stressful. Were you exhausted when you get home? Because I always feel
I
that way.
was wiped out when I got
Yeah,
home.
emotionally
Just
drained.
like that mental like
It is.
hyperfixation on, is something happening? Is everything okay? What was that
Every
noise?
sound,
Every
every little
sound.
noise. You're like, I haven't heard my car make this noise before or
Well,
whatever.
and I'm usually that girl who's rocking out with loud music in a podcast, so I don't pay attention to my car noises.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same way, but every now and then a little pebble will get in because I live in the desert. It's like a little pebble will get into the car and the tire will make a weird sound every
Mhm.
time that pebble hits.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I kind of know the sound now, but it doesn't happen frequently anymore. And when
still
it does,
throws you off. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, it's like, what the hell? So I have to get out, I have to go look, I have to like roll the car a little bit, like,
yep.
and no one's with me. So it's not like I can say, like, if Caden's with me, that's great. I can be like, to go out there and just look to see and then,
Hmm.
pick it out. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's so silly. Oh man, cars, crazy. I actually, next year I get, because I have a lease and I was looking I saw in Sedona, the newer Toyota Land Cruiser.
Mm.
I like how cute the Ford Broncos are, like how
I
they did
love the
that.
Ford Broncos. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're really cute, but I have a feeling because I haven't driven them yet, but I wanted to test drive a Bronco and then go test drive the Land.
They're not very spacious, though. I will say that because my aunt and uncle have two of them,
Oh, the
and
Broncos?
yes, and they're not
Oh,
very
so they're
spacious.
more like a Jeep then, and the
Yeah.
inside kind of thing.
Yeah.
See, that's kind of what I was thinking is like it kind of would feel like a little bit tinny too.
You wouldn't be, at least the ones that my aunt and uncle have, you would not be able to car camp in them. You would not be able to put a mattress down. Oh, that's so funny. A Bronco just drove past me while I was saying that. That is so funny.
That is funny. I love that.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to put like a twin size mattress laying down in the back of it.
Yeah.
Car
Because I want
camping.
something with a little more higher, maybe,
Clearance.
yeah,
Yeah.
higher clearance. And yeah, so maybe I mean, I want to still test drive it just for my own
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah. Shop
But
it.
I think they're just cute as heck.
They
But
are cute.
the new toy, I love Toyotas. So it's like either
Mhm.
like a Toyota Tundra or like a Toyota Land Cruiser. Feels like maybe my next route. And I think Cooper could still jump up in there, but I'll have to look at the height and stuff. But it's
Yeah.
fun. I just, yeah, I just am thinking something new. And then my mom's like, but you love to road trip so much. That's going to like cost you probably double every time you go somewhere
Mm,
because the trucks just take up so much more. Like they burn through more gas mileage,
yeah.
as they get
Yeah.
lower miles to the gallon. But it is what it is. Real life, like not and even a real big deal right now, but I saw it and I was like, that's really cute because
They're cute. They're
I
cute.
like the old Land Cruisers too. They're so badass.
They are. I like those too.
Uh-huh. So today we're gonna take a little step into dating is data collection and like
Yes.
reframing how we go into dating and trying to sort of avoid not avoid, be avoidant, but you're so cute. Avoid the idea of like creating conflict where maybe it isn't, and like a mind shift where
Hmm.
we're just collecting data and not putting attachments into
Hmm.
anything around literally that you've known this person for a half a second and
Yeah.
you're future faking yourself kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Because I think a lot of us, especially those of us who have leaned towards more anxious in the past, it's
Yeah.
so easy for us to
I'm
like,
raising my hand. I
yeah,
I've
same.
had that.
It's so easy for us to immediately like start future faking or spiraling over things, or
Falling for
um,
potential?
falling for potential,
Yeah.
ignoring the flags.
Yeah.
And I was having a conversation with a friend earlier today about how in past relationships or past dating experiences, I would even ignore like the beige flags, which beige flags are the little things that pop up that you notice that's like, this could either be a thing or this could not be a thing, but it's just something I'm feeling and noticing that might bug me, bother me, or I'm noticing.
Yep.
Um, I would even ignore those things in early
Yeah.
dating because I just wanted to be chosen so badly. And
Hmm.
now I find myself in a space of actively noticing those beige flags, those things, and just taking note of how they make me feel, and then asking why do I feel this way about it.
Yeah, and you should also not be dating to fill a loneliness vibe.
Yeah,
That just doesn't bode well for the other person that you are, maybe going out on a coffee date with. Like people deserve to have you show up in that intentionality of absolutely wanting to get to know each other and stay
yeah.
curious in that space, but not make it something it's truly not or force something or, you know, whatever else is kind of causing.
That feels like you're coming from a space of being disgenuine,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and you don't want to do that. You want to keep that conversation open and God, just give yourself permission. Not everybody's going to be a fit because there's lots of soulmates for all of us out there. There is someone for everyone. And
There might even be multiple someones for everyone.
absolutely. I mean, I think that's the thing. It's like staying open and making dating a little bit more fun and
Mhm.
noticing like I'm just collecting data. There's nothing wrong with anybody. They're fine. It's like it's okay and just notice and recognize. Like you said, you're like just checking in with yourself.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like you could have a list of all the things that you're checking off about someone. Like, sure, maybe they check all the boxes on your list of, oh, this person doesn't do this and this person does this, and then they talk this way or whatever it may be. Um, but at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is like, sure, someone could check off all the boxes on paper, but like, how do you feel around that person?
It's fun because it's interesting because yesterday, I mean, this morning I just came back from Sedona and I spent an evening, overnight there,
Hmm.
Cooper, and I got a hotel room and my friend Renee is coming through and was coming through and we're like, oh my God, we've known each other for like 3 years and finally got to meet in person and she has her son with her, which he is so freaking precious. But we were talking around the pool last night because they had like Encanto playing, like there was all these kids, and we were
Mm-hmm.
just having a conversation because unfortunately coming out of a breakup, right? But
Mm-hmm.
beyond that, it's like we were talking about the sense of how when you get to a place of feeling really good around yourself and good, like I go to a movie by myself. Like I take myself on solo dates. Like I really like being around myself. Like I have no problem being alone. It is not a loneliness feeling,
Right.
and that it becomes easier to protect your peace in that because
Mm-hmm.
you recognize if you're not jiving with somebody, that it shows up in all these other parts of your body, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You literally how you feel.
yeah, and so it's just so I was telling her last night because I was saying, well, have you ever done a checklist like non-negotiable requirements? And she's like, yeah. I go, it's really interesting now because I don't truly carry around a checklist with me anymore like I
Mm-hmm.
used to.
Yeah.
She goes, because you trust yourself more? I go, yeah, it's because I trust myself. And also, I can give myself everything. And I realize that my non-negotiables or my requirements, I already give myself. I mean, I already make sure that I don't do stuff that makes me upset or,
Yeah.
doesn't like fire me up or align, and like light me up. I said, so anybody who I decide I want to spend time with, it's like they just have to add to my already joyful experience in life right now.
Yeah. Like, does that person, like, are you continuing to be curious about them? Do you find yourself wanting to spend time with them? Do you find
Right.
yourself drawn to them? Like,
Right.
do you enjoy conversation with them? Like, you can check off everything you want on a list, but at the end of the day, there's just more factors than that.
Yeah, and I think when you're not thinking about the list, but you're focused on like those core elements,
Mm-hmm.
like how do we align lifestyle wise?
Mm-hmm.
Like get curious around like what's your vision for like hey, your age, like like I'm 56, like hey, what does retirement look like for you? Like what do those next phases, like how long do you think you're going to work for? Like these are all questions that even friends can ask each other. But when you're in a scenario of like romantic curiosity, it's just as valuable and just as important, but it doesn't have to feel like you're just saying, let's check, check, check off this list.
Yeah.
It becomes a part of the conversation. And the more you do it, the better you get at it, where it doesn't feel like, from the other person's perspective, that you are being sort of like a drill sergeant around.
Interrogating.
Yeah, interrogation, exactly. It's more of like it becomes a part of the conversation. Like, yeah, what do you see for your life in two
Yeah.
years, 3 years? Taking it in bite-sized bits. What are those goals? I think that can tell you so much and how people process, that those conversations, and if they lean in and want to ask you questions as well. Like, are
Mhm.
they being curious back? Like,
Yeah.
that's an important value for me now, is like that reciprocity.
That's a big piece for me too now. Very big
Yeah.
piece. Yeah. I'm really finding that that is a more important thing than I thought it was.
I mean, if you know yourself to be that, then you have to start working through the uncomfortableness, the awkward feeling. It's not really an awkward feeling. It's just when it's new, it does feel awkward, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it like to say, hey, this is what I like to, how I like to communicate. Let's like text for a week and like see if we're like vibing, a little enough vibe and enough curiosity. But let's
Mm-hmm.
like let's now go and like meet up and have a coffee or do a
Yeah.
walk and talk or
Because
whatever.
like in-person vibe is a huge piece. It's a
It's
huge piece
everything.
for me. Like I could have great conversation with someone. They could check all the boxes in terms of like beliefs and all the
Hmm.
things. But if we get in person and I don't feel an attraction or there's not a in-person chemistry, it's a no for me.
Yeah. Because they say like when you're data collecting, there's like different categories, right? So are they checking off the emotional data. Like, do I
Mm.
feel calm, safe? How's my nervous system? Or
Yeah, that's huge.
am I regulated? You don't get, I mean, you can get that on a phone call and you can get that in a sense, but when you still have like like a wall between you, even if it's visual, like, like a Zoom, like a
Yeah.
FaceTime, you still are like able to kind of dip out if you need to or whatnot, but it really is. And like behavioral data, are they following through? Showing consistency. How do they handle stress and conflict? So, in the first few weeks of just talking to someone, I was listening to one of Sabrina Zohar's new episodes, and it's funny because it's like you need time in the game. That's why they suggest 90 days, of like really collecting that data,
Yeah.
that to give yourself that time, like it, and also that you're choosing to continue to talk. Like maybe you've had a great day of conversation and you're like, I'm open to this person tomorrow. And then if they continue on, you're like, well, this is cool. I'm open to them the next day.
Yeah.
It's like they're throwing tokens in your dating equity, it's like into the dating bank. And
Yeah. Just taking it one day at a time instead of future planning too.
oh yeah, I know. Girls love to do that shit. I mean,
Girl.
I'm at fault for that. I totally have done that in the past, and it
Yeah.
has never served me because my brain is now in the future and I'm like all in
Not in the
love.
present.
I'm all in love with potential, but is that really the truth of the matter? No, it's not. It's
Yeah.
really not. Not
Yeah.
until not until every day becomes like, oh, this is cool. This is cool. Now I'm collecting enough data and then in person that matches. Okay, that's where it's like they align.
Yeah.
And then you have like lifestyle data, like do our day-to-day worlds overlap? Or, you have one amazing day and you're like, oh my God, our worlds totally align. Well, in that conversation, yes. But now you go
Hmm.
to another week and you're like, asking new questions, right? And you're collecting new data, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I'm really thinking about getting a job in Europe and going to Europe.
Hmm.
And you're like, wow, that was not what we talked about like even 3 days
Yeah.
ago. Like,
Yeah.
and so that's why you need time in the game. Like, well, how stuck are you on Europe? Or what, you have to then be okay to like ask those questions and not, and also like not be in it other than like, does again this feel promising or
Hmm.
are we compromising?
Yeah. And that's why, taking time to get to know someone's really important because you learn more data the longer time you have with someone.
Yeah, and they have to go through the moon cycles or
Mhm.
you have to like see them go through a few things because we don't know if, what's happening for
I
them.
always kind of giggle when I see like on Facebook, are we dating the same guy groups when people will post, I've been talking to this guy for 3 months. I've been talking to this guy for 3 months. He broke up with me. He ghosted. I'm like, yeah, the 3 month mark is really kind of like a sweet spot in dating where by 3 months, you should really know if someone's going to be aligned for you or not. And
Yeah.
that's really when you're getting to see the nitty gritty of who they are.
I like this analogy of thinking of your heart like a peach. It's kind of
Hmm.
like, James, remember the James and the Giant Peach?
James and the Giant Peach. Yep. Love that
Such a
one.
cute book. But I was thinking about it the other day when Kaden was eating a peach, and I was like, peaches? Because I think she said something to me in the effect of like, God, they bruise so easily. And I was like,
Mhm.
ooh, peaches can be looked at as a symbolic heart. Like, how would you treat a peach? And you're like,
Mhm.
so if you ask somebody like, how would you treat a peach? They're like, oh my God, with gentle care, like, because they bruise easy. And
Mhm.
it's like that's how we should be treating our own hearts, like
Mhm.
gentle care
Yeah.
and because they do bruise easy and they're tender and so it's interesting when you're starting to
I like that analogy. And,
yeah
data collecting, it's like you're data collecting so that you can take care of your heart.
yeah so you can really it's true. I mean it's like the whole values data too. It's like around family or ambition or spirituality. Again, it's like these little things that add up over time, but
Hmm.
once you start to kind of understand yourself. And once you've gone on some dates, like, I've practiced quite a bit, I
Yeah.
did. I did a lot of practicing, and I don't really feel like I have to practice anymore. I kind of just go off, does this feel good or not? Like really, like
Yeah.
does this person earn my time for the next day?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I think I'm in that stage right now of like I'm in my
yeah.
practicing stage.
Yeah, if they feel good, then cool. They're lucky to get to continue talking to you too, because you
Exactly.
already know what you give. Like
Yeah. I know
you
what I
have
bring to
her.
the table, and I also know what I need and want.
Yes. So important. Can you
Yeah.
imagine 3 years ago? We didn't know shit.
We didn't know shit. We didn't know shit about ourselves.
Well, oh my God, our like I have to go back and look at my list back then. I think even though I thought it was really like for real, I don't think it really was. I mean, it was
I have
what
to
I
say,
knew
if you
then,
went
right?
back to my list, 4 years ago when I was coming out of getting divorced,
Yeah.
my list probably read like a romance novel character.
Oh my God, totally. Oh my God, totally. Like they smoke. Like, oh, of course, I do not want a smoker around me. Like that doesn't align for me. Like I don't want to smell cigarette smoke. But
Yeah.
like there are some other things on there. I'm like, wow, it really kind of just depends on where the person like I'm in a different space now too because
Yes.
I can hold more space. I have more compassion and empathy towards people who have had trauma just by collecting data and learning and
Mhm.
reading books and being really curious around that because not all people who have had trauma should be poo-pooed. I mean, it just
Yeah.
depends on where they are in their trauma, in their journey, in their healing journey. Again, do we align right now at the same time? Are we vibing? Or, am I getting a little bit from you and you're getting a little bit from me and we're showing up as our unmasked self.
I'm kind of looking at my list these days as like the initial qualifiers
Yes.
to access my time.
Yep.
Okay, you don't smoke weed, you don't drink a lot, you don't
Right.
smoke cigarettes, you
Right.
are liberal, like my list. Okay, you've checked those boxes. Well, that qualifies you for a conversation with me.
Right. I love that. Yeah.
And then we're going to find out if you continue to qualify.
You're such a Taurus in that moment. But it's true. Like you do know how you love. It's like you deserve to be so loved and so valued. And I mean, like, don't take fucking anything less. It's so
No,
stupid. It's
no.
like it's so dumb. I mean, I rather spend money on friendships and
Mhm.
experiences with my closest people than spend money on a weekend away with somebody that literally doesn't feel aligned just because like don't also allow curiosity to just be stupid too. Like
Yeah.
get curious and collect the data enough to make the choices that are for your highest good.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
like if it's for just sex and you just really want that, then cool. Then that's no judgment.
Then most of the qualifiers are out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just go enjoy. I mean, there are some people who I've heard like stories like they were just going to be a one night stand and they ended up like having a really great talk after that the next
Well,
day.
that's kind of how Sabrina Zohar met her person. She
Right.
talked
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that, how she thought it
I
was just going to be like a one night thing kind of thing, a hookup, and
totally.
then now they've been dating for a long time.
But I love it because in her latest episode, she also said, even though they've been, they were at it in the first couple of months, she didn't like he was like, "Hey, will you be my girlfriend?" And she's like, "Not yet." Like
Hmm.
she's like, "I need to see you vulnerable. I need to see like," and I love that. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's really cool. Like, are we dropping our masks for one another? Are we finding that to be comfortable? And if we're not, can we say, this is uncomfortable? That's still showing vulnerability. It's like you don't
Yeah, I'm not going to know if someone's partner material for me until I've seen them in like
scenarios.
scenarios, tough situations. I've seen how they parent or how they're going to interact with children.
Yeah.
Um, like there's so many scenarios in which I'm going to need to see how someone shows up before I'm going to know if that person's partner material for me.
I agree. And it was great because she was like, I said no to him. I'm like, nope, I still need to see you through a few more
Yeah.
cycles of things. And then she said around 4.5 months, she'd seen enough and realized I want to now, like, I can be intentional with you. Like, I've seen everything in a sense. And she was like, okay, I'll be your girlfriend. And, she's like, and we're not ready for marriage yet now either. Like, we're living together, we're doing life. I'm not, we're not talking about like, let's have kids together. We're not future
Hmm.
faking ourselves. We're like really just staying still in the moment, knowing that we both really want to be intentional and there are still new things to work out and see how we navigate. Like she's like, I'm not looking anywhere else, of course, but
Hmm.
I'm enjoying where we are, but it's also we're both still collecting, that information. And
Absolutely.
I think you kind of have to just keep doing it until, you can get to a place where you're comfortable and you're both showing up for each other in the ways and that just takes time, right? Like, 'cause
I think the biggest piece of data collection that can happen is the data you collect on yourself.
agreed.
Because here's the thing. I
Yeah.
was with someone for 8 years. I was
Mm-hmm.
married to that person for 3 years. I had two
Mm-hmm.
children with that person. I raised their child as my own. And despite that longevity, at the end of the day, I didn't have enough data on myself
Yeah.
for that relationship because that
Yep.
relationship like ripped me to shreds. And I had all the data on them and I ignored the data on them because I didn't have the data on myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I really, when it
Those
comes down to it for me with
patterns.
dating, it's like yeah, I'm collecting data about the other person. Absolutely. But the most important data I'm collecting is the data on myself.
Yeah. How
How do
you
I feel?
feel.
How
Yep.
does this align for me? Do I
Yeah.
see myself dating this person? All of that.
Yeah, do you feel like, wow, this you can mesh nicely. Like this
Hmm.
feel like you're seeing this person and you're like, God, like when you texted me the other day, like, oh my God, you would actually like this person. And I was like,
Hmm.
that's a really kind of a nice data point that you collected, right?
Yeah.
You're like, that's a really cool thing. Like you could hang with my friends. And
I could see you vibing with my friends.
yeah, that's a really nice data collection. Even if it doesn't work out, it's like it reminds you that even little moments like that, you're like, okay, that's cool. That maybe that got
Which
you.
is a big piece because like in past relationships, especially the person I was married to, I was embarrassed to have that person around my friends. That person was
Yeah.
embarrassment to me. And so feeling like, oh, this is somebody that could actually maybe vibe with my friends. That's a big data thing, you know?
Yeah, and in my marriage, I mean, she just didn't want to have more people like to
Hmm.
like hang out with. So I for sure want someone who is not a complete wallflower again, but who can ask for space when they need it for decompression, kind of like, how sometimes you're just overwhelmed and you're like, "Hey guys, I'm probably not going to text you back for 3 days." Like and
Yeah.
that's fine. Like you know yourself in that way and we all give you this space. We'll send you stuff
Yeah.
and but we don't have any expectations. Like whenever you get back to me, you'll get back to me. But it doesn't mean that like, hey, I didn't think about you and I'm going to send this to you anyways. Cause I know you'll look at it when you have time.
And
It's
I know
just,
that about myself and now I'm communicating that in my
yes.
practicing. Like I talked to someone recently where in our conversation, there was going to be a lapse in our schedule before we could maybe potentially meet up. And I said, hey, I'm not really that great at communicating online. So I am intentionally going to tell you, though, I'm down to continue chatting if you'd like to. And I'm just going to let you know I'm not really great at online connection. And so I was trying to be intentional about letting this person know this about me so that we could continue connecting if they wanted to, maybe in other ways. And, chatting with someone right now where it's like letting them know, oh, there was 5 hours I didn't respond to a message and coming back and being like, hey, I've got a lot going on right now. I am going to respond to your messages when I have capacity, just so you know, I'm going to circle back, like not just leaving you hanging here.
Right. No, exactly. And I think it's important because when you're doing that, it's like you're just voicing that. And the other thing is like if I were someone interested in dating you, at that point I would have said, "Hey, what does that look like?"
Mm, mm-hmm,
Right? Because that's the
mm-hmm.
curiosity. Like I'm getting so solid in my curiosity when I really
Yeah.
do enjoy that it's really important that we sometimes miss the boat when we stop being curious because
Yes.
so you said that intentionally. He had the opportunity there to say, yeah, I know. This is crazy. So what does it look like for you? And you would have been like, I'll lay it out. This is what I'm thinking. And then they could have said, that actually works for me. Or, hey, can we insert this instead of this? And you could have said, so you can still have an agreement around the non-communication
And in
space.
that scenario, I ended up getting ghosted, and
Yeah, which is
that's
so
the
dumb.
data point right there.
Yep.
I was intentional, stated my needs, was honest about how I communicate, and then I got ghosted.
Yeah.
So that tells me a lot about that person.
Well, yeah, and you know what? When someone does that, they're getting way too comfortable in online connection.
Yeah.
It's just too easy to like
Yeah, and
ghost
looking
and
back at
say,
our conversation, I'm like, at the time I felt like he was asking great questions, but then I look back and I'm like, these are pretty like boring questions that you ask. It felt like not boring, it's not the right word, because they were good questions. It just felt very routine. Like there
I
was no
can honestly say
personality
I
to
haven't,
it.
yeah, I've never ghosted. There's no reason to ghost anybody. It's dumb.
Yeah, and I think people have been on dating apps a long time. They kind of get into a routine of asking questions, and it's just kind of like almost like a job interview, and there's no
Yeah.
personality to it. And I think that's kind
Yeah,
of what
there's no
happens there.
customization, right? And the
Yeah,
outreach. Like
yeah,
that's my whole job is like I have to like be, like think outside the box
yeah,
and customize and tailor it based on the information that I know about that brand. Well, that's nothing different. Maybe it's just my natural tendency because I like being curious. But I like want to say to the pod today, like if you're out there and even if it's a friendship or romantic, platonic, it doesn't matter, a work relationship, just showing being curious about somebody really lights other people up. They get
yeah.
excited about it.
It does. Goes a long ways.
I know, it's cool. Anyways, this was fun.
It was great.
Collect the data, collect the data.
All the data.
All the
Make a spreadsheet.
When I
Actually,
say,
no, here's a resource drop though. I can't remember what podcast I heard about this on, but there's an app. It's a free app. It's called Klarna, and or was it Clara or Klarna? Let me look real fast.
okay,
It is Clara. It's called Clara, not Klarna. Clara, and it's essentially like a note app for taking data on dating. So you create your roster. So you have your people in there. You put a name or a picture and their
oh,
age, and then underneath each person, there's like a note section where you can do a note update every time you've had a date with them or you've talked with them to see how you're feeling and kind of track the data. And then it asks you questions after your dates. You'll log a date and it will ask you questions like, how did you feel about this person?
that's
And I'm
interesting.
using that right now to kind of like keep track of like how I'm feeling about things and my interactions. And I think it's interesting.
It is interesting to see that. And my friend Tanya loves data and she really can do some good spreadsheets around this kind of stuff. It's fun. It's funny. I know. All right. Thank you, friend. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode today, be sure to subscribe and share because what do we say, baby?
Sharing is caring.